Hello. In this video, we are starting to explore larger forms, and in this first part, we are going to talk about binary forms. Before we start, I have to state that the terminology we are going to use in this and in the following videos is based on tonal harmony by Stephen Koska, Dorothy Payne, and Braun Allman. There are many terminologies. The terminology of formal analysis is not standardized. You could sometimes one particular term is used for extremely different purposes. I'm going to give a couple of examples of these different usages at the end of the video. Binary. The term binary means two-ness. And in music, a binary form is one that consists of two approximately equivalent sections. In this case, equivalent doesn't mean the length. The sections could be of different lengths. This is no problem. For example, the first section could be 8 measure long and the second section could be 12 measure long or 16. It doesn't matter. It is okay. Equivalent means equally important. Let's say we have an introduction and then a main section. And let's say the duration of intro is 8 measure and main section LAITZ also 8 measures. Although the sections are of the same length, we don't call this structure as binary because the intro section and the main section is not equally important. In other words, intro section is not as important as the main section. There are also other structures which are in binary structure, for example, periods or double periods. Those are in binary structure. Those structures consists of two equally important sections or phrases, for example, period, antecedent phrase and consequent phrase. This is binary, but we don't name them binaries because we have better terms for those structures, and those are periods, for example, or double periods or something else. Let's listen to this example. Please always keep in mind that in formal analysis or while performing a formal analysis, it is mostly about cadences. The most important thing in formal analysis is cadence. And cadences are given: half cadence, authentic cadence, actually perfect authentic cadence, because we have the tonic note in the melody, half cadence, and once again perfect authentic cadence. And if you look at the melodic structure of the phrases, we have an A phrase, and then we have almost the same phrase, at least the beginnings are the same. Let's label it with A prime. And then we have a different melodic counter and different... Okay, the rhythmic structure is very similar, but the melodic counter is different. This is our B phrase. And once again, B prime. Even the phrases are completely the same. The cadences are different, so it should be prime. Okay, we discovered that we have 4 phrases. The piece or the section consists of 4 phrases. Let's try to find a larger structure, and we will find here one and here another one. And our larger structure would be A prime, HC, PAC, and that makes a parallel period. And the same goes for the second section. We have B prime, HC, PAC, and this is also a parallel period. And if the parallel periods comes together and make a section, the larger structure is a binary. And in this case, we have a sectional binary form. Sectional because at the end of the first section, we have the tonic harmony. In other words, if the first part ends with the tonic harmony, we call the form sectional binary. Please note that there are 2 conditions in order to call a binary form sectional. First, it has to end with a perfect or imperfect authentic cadence. Second, this cadence has to be in our main key. That means if we have a half cadence in the main key or an authentic cadence in a key other than the main key, it is not a sectional binary. It is then another type of binary which I am going to explain right now. This is another example of binary form. Let's listen to it. Once again, the first thing you should do is locate and identify the cadences. The cadences are given in this case, and you see it is always HC, PAC, HC, PAC, HC, PAC. So then look at the melodic structure. The first phrase is A, label them with the lowercase letters. The first phrase is A, and the second phrase after the cadence means, as you know, it marks the end of one phrase. And after that starts a new phrase. And we have a completely different melodic structure than we have a B phrase. And as you see, we have a period structure here. We have A phrase, B phrase, and the cadences weaker, stronger. And this is a contrasting period. And after that, we have a completely new phrase. Beginning after the cadence, we have another new phrase. It is D. And after the cadence, beginning here, we have once again another melodic structure, melodic counter. This is E. And starting here, we have another phrase. It looks the same with the D phrase, but it is not enough to label that as D prime. It should be F, because it is in a different key. Then after that it continues differently, and only one continuous tone is not enough similarity. So, and we have another period structures, C, D. This is also a contrasting period, and E, F. This is also a contrasting period. And you see, it is clearly visible that we have a two-part formal division. And the division is at that point, and that makes the form a binary. What kind of a binary? We know it is not sectional binary because the first section doesn't end with the tonic key. It ends in another key with perfect authentic cadence, but it doesn't matter. It ends in another key. And this is the formal and tonal structure of the piece. The question is, does the first part ends with the tonic harmony? In this case, the answer is no. Then it is not a sectional binary. It is a continuous binary. And this is the second type of binary that we are going to learn. In this example, we have two repeat signs. The first one is at the end of the first section, and the second one is at the end of the second section. In that case, we talk about two reprise form. It is two reprise form. We have to mention that because the oral result is not A and B. What we hear is A and B. This is then two reprise form. Another kind of binary. Remember our first example, green sleeves. The first part is 8 measure long, and the second part is also 8 measure long. In that case, the sections are balanced, and we are talking about balanced binary form. In our Bach example, on the other hand, we have the A section 8 measure long and the B section 16 measure long. In that case, we are talking about an unbalanced binary form. Let's listen to this example. cadences are given. Let's look at phrases. We have the A phrase, and after the cadence we have the same melodic material actually, but the cadence is different, then we label it A prime. And after the repeat sign we have a similar melodic structure, the same rhythm and a similar melodic counter, but it is not enough to label that as A double prime or something like that. It is B. And we will notice at that point we hear once again the A phrase, and it is exactly the A prime. The piece should end here actually, but there is two measure extension. We are going to talk about that. More precisely, if we take this part away, we have the same, almost the same structure as the 8th measure. So this is the analysis of the piece. As we can see, we have uppercase letter. With uppercase letter we label the sections, by the way. Lowercase letter for phrases and uppercase letters for sections, for larger sections. So we have A section, and then we have B section here, and then we get only the half of A section, and this is another kind of binary form, and in this case we are talking about a rounded binary form. As I said, at the end of the piece we have an additional two measure. This is like a conclusion, and we call them extensions. Extensions are very common techniques used by composer to break the routine or to break the regularity. So our terms are binary form, sectional binary, continuous binary, two-reprise form, balanced binary, unbalanced binary, and finally rounded binary. And we are going to mix them. A piece could be, for example, two-reprise, sectional, unbalanced binary. And one thing you have to notice is if a piece is in rounded binary form, there is no balanced or unbalanced, it is just rounded. So you may also see open and closed formal divisions instead of continuous and sectional binary. For example, in Music in Theory and Praxis by Bruce Benward and Marlon Saker, those terms are used, but we are going to use continuous and sectional binary instead. Also, simple binary form, you can see the term simple binary form. That means it is not rounded. That's all. In the book The Complete Musician by Stephen LAITZ, there are some different usages. Sectional and continuous are the same, but in simple binary he used also the lowercase letters to indicate the sections, to mark the sections. We don't use them. We are going to use only uppercase letters to mark the sections. And in rounded binary form, he used the term digression instead of B. But for now, we are going to use A section, B section, and A prime section also for rounded binary form. And balanced binary has a completely different meaning in this book. A balanced binary means if we here the closing cadential idea of the first section, also at the end of the second section. He calls that balanced binary. But we are not going to use this term. We are going to use the term balanced if both sections has the same measure number, and unbalanced if they are different. So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.